movie fans, to my continuous coverage of the Venice Film Festival 2022, and thank you for clicking on my review for Darren Aronofsky's The Whale, starring Brendan Fraser back on the silver screen as a reclusive English teacher who suffers from severe obesity and congestive heart failure, who tries to reconnect with his estranged teenage daughter for one last chance at redemption. And the Fraser sauce has officially begun. The Whale truly moved me. I went into this film already expecting a hard watch, as most, if not all, of Aronofsky's movies are. But this really was an emotional wallop on so many levels, where Aronofsky is effortlessly able to, from the beginning, put you in this place of high tension and unpredictability as the film takes place over the course of 5 days. And shooting this film in a 4:3 aspect ratio feels like it puts you inside this box that is both literal in the context of the film, but also metaphorical. But before I keep going with my thoughts on the beginning of the Fraser sauce, let me know what you think of The Whale, if you're excited, if you've seen it at the festival or anywhere else by the time you catch this video, anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying this review, the Venice Film Festival coverage, or if you just love movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations, your favorite movies and TV. Much like Charlie himself, played by Brendan Fraser, who occupies every single frame in this small 4:3 box in this one location throughout the 2 hours of this film, you feel this constant sense of claustrophobia, like you're barely able to breathe. Even in relaxed moments, moments of joy, moments of supposed happiness, you're on this constant balancing act on a tightrope because anything could go wrong at any point. And you understand how this man has become so trapped, not only in his body in the literal sense, but also by his grief and sorrow over choices and losses throughout his life, delivering this devastating experience as you watch this man who is so joyful, so kind, and how that has become a mechanism to allow people in so he doesn't feel so alone because of how much he's trapped himself in this life. Charlie is just one of those characters that effortlessly puts a smile on your face, that you want to hug and hold tight in a film that earns this redemption for this character, and who isn't a sucker for the redemption story? And then there's the mix of actor and character, where Brendan Fraser playing this character, being one of the kindest people working in Hollywood, that is rare these days, just creates this seamless fusion that comes to life beautifully. It is such an intimate portrait of Charlie's humanity, and Aronofsky is able to play it all out as a horror film with this heightened sense of tension and danger throughout. Getting up is a danger for this man. Breathing is a danger for this man. And you're constantly in this sense of unpredictability that doesn't let up, which is such an honest way of portraying obesity on film, with all the dramatic heft and weight coming from the narrative and themes. But then you have character interactions throughout this filled with humor and levity that feels so earned and genuine. When you have two friends trying to help one another, and as Charlie is moving to a wheelchair, backing up, and then his friends is doing the truck sound, beep, 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 and that was so needed throughout this harrowing, deeply moving, but depressingly sad experience. But of course, let's talk about the man of the hour himself, Brendan Fraser, who gives it his all in this demanding, layered performance that I honestly didn't know he had this in him. Now, he gained quite a bunch of weight for this role, but he is also wearing a fat suit. And even though the prosthetics and makeup are wonderfully fleshy and textured and look so real, the work is all his. Even though he's physically constrained in a lot of ways, his eyes express so much, from joy to pain and everything in between. A wide range of emotions that he can convey without moving so much. That is a true power of performance, and he kept on impressing me throughout this entire film. Playing this character who, again, is so kind, and you just can't help but fall for this dude who has so many regrets and is in this state of hopelessness, which is one of the main themes of the film, as he's become so consumed and overwhelmed by grief, which has led him down this path of self-destruction where he eats as a means to cope with his grief, leaving him in this state. And it's something that could easily be overdone and overly melodramatic, but Brendan Fraser's sensibilities and the nuance he is given through the direction of Aronofsky just deliver this devastating vulnerability on screen that absolutely broke me. This film brought me to tears through his performance. So just be warned, you should take tissues to this one, because there are certain moments between him and his daughter, there are certain lines of dialogue that absolutely hit a personal core. And when it comes to his daughter, played by Sadie Sink, she is the complete opposite of her father. And this is obviously due to Charlie's abandonment of her at a young age, but Ellie has become an angry and bitter person that uses verbal abuse as a mechanism of defense to deal with her own grief. And the mirror between these two characters is just fascinating to watch, as he keeps trying to open up to her with kindness and with an open mind, and she keeps throwing insults his way as a means to close her proverbial doors. And I think Sadie Sink is absolutely wonderful. The role can feel a bit one note throughout most of the film until the last 10 minutes, but she does it all with great nuance. The whole supporting cast is great. Hong Chow deserves a special shout out for playing Charlie's best friend. The relationship that unravels between these two as we learn more and more about what actually connects them, it's something really beautiful to witness. And then we have Ty Simpkins' character. And by the way, this kid has grown a lot since the last time we saw him in the first Jurassic World. He plays this missionary from a religious group who's trying to save Charlie's soul. And I don't think this character and the narrative that comes with him quite fully work within the context of this film. It works well enough at first as the film is unfolding, but by the end, it never fully blends in to the story, feeling more like it's Aronofsky injecting his opinions and religious commentary into the film rather than it being an organic part of the narrative itself. The final scene between Charlie and this kid just feels so rushed, and like there's a step missing between coming to that moment and what we saw before. And finally, as with many movies like these, it can feel like a play at points, particularly in the commentary. There's a scene with Samantha Morton that the dialogue just loses all its nuance. The narrative just loses all its sophistication at points, and it's just very blatant and very in your face. And I just didn't feel like that gelled well with the rest of the film. But nevertheless, even with all those issues, this is the official beginning of the Fraser Sans, and I could not be happy for Brendan Fraser because he will leave you jaw-dropped. Darren Aronofsky's The Whale absolutely broke me. This is a stripped-back portrait of hopelessness, grief, and redemption, bursting at the seams with honest emotion, where a devastatingly vulnerable Brendan Fraser delivers a career-defining performance that will have you weeping. I'm giving The Whale a B+. That's my take on The Whale from the Venice Film Festival. Let me know what you make of it, whether you caught it here at the festival or in cinemas by the time you catch this video. Anything and everything down there. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for many more reviews, and big shout out to my channel members for always supporting this channel. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.